already? Okay. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys is, what's your favorite memory from your time as a wrestler in school so far?
I'll go ahead and say that winning Humble Duels last year, you know, the team, some of my best friends were on the team that year for sure. It was just a crazy experience because we didn't feel so confident coming into it, and we came out with a dominant win, so it felt pretty good.
I would say my favorite memory is last year whenever our varsity got hurt and I had to step up, and I won a match that I was kind of underdog for, and just the entire team like surrounding me and hyping me up during the match and after the match was really nice.
I think mine is the first time I went as varsity, and I actually did really well, thinking I wasn't. I think I did pretty good that tournament. There was a lot of people hyping me up, stuff like that.
So if you guys could wrestle any historical figure, living or dead, who would it be and why?
I'm gonna take Plato, pin him first round.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, I want to test him out.
Rey Mysterio.
Can you guys explain why? I want to know the...
So Plato was actually a wrestler. Like, Plato was his wrestling name, not like his actual name. I just think that's kind of funny.
I want to wrestle Neil deGrasse Tyson because I find it really interesting that he was actually a really accomplished wrestler despite being so smart. And, you know, most people associate wrestling with being a very meathead sport and not very intelligent people.
I don't know what it is about Rey Mysterio, but he offends me.
And my last question for you guys is, can you tell us about your preparations leading up to the upcoming wrestling season?
I think a lot of the preparations are mental. I'd say more than the physical. It's mental. It's about, you know, there's a saying in wrestling, it's wrestle like you can't lose and you won't. It's about being able to endure, because wrestling is one of those sports where it's not comfortable at all. There's not a moment of comfortability in there at all, and it's about being able to go through that and get to the other side.
Yeah, kind of going off what he was saying, like it's mostly mental. I mean, because, you know, leading up to the matches, you know, you can't eat very much. You know, not very much water, so it's a lot of like pressuring through. Because I mean, sitting there trying to lose all that weight, and you know, you get to watch your family eat a nice meal, and you just have to sit there and watch. That's pretty sad, but it kind of gives you hope during the match, because you're like, I didn't suffer all that for nothing. So it kind of gives you something to wrestle for.
I mean, like Nathan said, it's really all mental. Can't get too comfortable. If you get too comfortable, you know, it's just you're not going to be there. You're not going to deliver, stuff like that. So.
All right. So what's the most important thing y'all learned while doing wrestling?
I think the biggest thing I learned with wrestling is discipline. I think a lot of times it's really easy to do a hard thing for a little bit, but it's really hard to do a hard thing for a long time and to just ride it out and keep going. There's a difference between choosing of being disciplined now and having a good result, or not being disciplined and being dissatisfied with the result. So I think that's the biggest thing, is discipline.
I would say the biggest thing I learned from wrestling is teamwork, because, you know, through that discipline, it's a lot harder to do something hard by yourself. But like during practice, whenever we're going really hard, like if I see other people slacking off, then, you know, it's going to be easier for me to, yeah, you know, nobody else is working hard, so I'm not going to work hard. But if you look around you and you see everybody else working hard, it just gives you a drive to work even harder.
Like Nathan said again, it's all discipline. Having to wake up in the morning and right before school starts, 3 miles, and having to go back to school, barely eat, after school run another 3 miles just to make weight at a tournament, it really does something to you. So it's just really all discipline.
How do you keep yourself feeling positive and motivated during a loss?
I mean, for me personally, it's one of those things where you just take the lick and move on. You know, you can't let it simmer. You can't steep in it. You gotta just keep pressing on.
I keep myself motivated by from a loss, because, you know, I go out there and I make sure I give it my all. The only time I'm disappointed by losses is if I go out there and I know I didn't give it my best, and I could have won a match that I lost. And it's just good knowing that even though I lost, I still went out there and gave it my all.
I keep myself motivated by seeing the people around me. If they lose, they keep their head up. If I lose, I should keep my head up. It's like, if they're not going down, why should I go down?
What school is the most challenging to go against?
I mean, I think West Side is probably the biggest problem we have. They're district champs a couple years in a row now, I think. They always have a really solid roster every year. It's always really good to go against them.
And then he was talking about the whole district, but in Humble SD, I would say this year Tascasita is looking like they're going to be the team to beat. So we'll look forward to facing them in December at the Humble Duels.
I agree with that. And Humble, and most likely it's Tascasita.
What do you guys do to get in the right mindset before a match?
I think it's a lot of you have to have a lot of confidence going in. You have to be able to talk to yourself and know that, like, no matter what you do, you have to be happy with the result, and that the result is all on you. You know, it's matches aren't won during the actual match. They're won in the days before, the months before, the weeks before, leading up, preparing, and you just have to be confident in your own preparation.
Yeah, I would say like hyping yourself up before the match. That's what I do. You know, I look at the other person. I'm like, yeah, I could beat him in a fight. So, you know, it's getting in that right mindset and just, you know, getting yourself hyped up. Because if you go out there and you're all sluggish, then you're more than likely going to lose. But if you start getting your heart rate up before the match, you know, do some jumping jacks, push-ups, stuff like that, you know, get going, then the match is a lot easier to win.
Like it was said earlier, it's all confidence. If you go out there and you look at a guy and you think, oh, he's going to destroy me, chances are you're not beating him. But if you go out there and say you're going to beat him, chances are you might actually beat him.
What's running through your mind in the middle of a match?
Yeah, going off what he said, don't get pinned.
Don't lose.
When did you guys start wrestling, and like how does it differ from when you started to now?
So I started wrestling my freshman year. It was a COVID year, so it was a little different than it is now for sure. But I'd say the biggest difference now is that just the program's much bigger, way, way bigger. There's so much people in the room. There's a lot more talent in the room now because, you know, bigger room. We're all working hard together. I'd say that's just the biggest change is the climate.
I started wrestling my sophomore year, and I would say the sophomore year, the first year, you're mostly just learning a bunch of different moves and seeing what you like. And throughout last year and this year, I'm just focusing on, now that I found the moves that I like, I'm refining those moves and making them even better.
I started my sophomore year. I say it's all about really just learning new moves. First year is all about learning new moves. Second year, and like through that time, you should be figuring out what weight class I want to go, how much I want to cut, stuff like that.